That is the next big question. What happens to Gaza after the war? Who will be part of the post-war plan? And most importantly, is there a post-war plan? We've seen many reports and theories, so let's look at the possible scenarios. Could Hamas stick around after the war? Well, their chief says absolutely. That's this man, Ismail Haniyeh. He says any arrangement without Hamas is delusional.
I say that any bet on arrangements in Gaza or in the Palestinian cause in general without Hamas and the resistance factions is an illusion and a mirage.
Easy for him to say sitting in Doha. All he has to do is record sound bites in front of a fake screen. It's the people of Gaza, in Gaza, who are suffering. More than 18,400 people are dead. Many more will die unless the war ends. And who decides when that happens? Who decides the end? Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu has not revealed his post-war plan. We're assuming that he has one. But Netanyahu has made one thing very clear. Gaza must be free of Hamas.
I want you to pass this along to the last of the soldiers. We are continuing until the end, until victory, until Hamas is annihilated. Let there be no doubt about this. This is important. It is a message I want to convey to every soldier over there.
That's the first contradiction. Hamas says no plan without us. Israel says no plan with Hamas. Which brings us to scenario number 2, a forced eviction of Gaza. It's been discussed before. Many Arab countries have talked about it, that Israel wants to push Gazans into Egypt's Sinai desert. Basically, empty out the strip. No people, no Hamas. Would Cairo agree to such a plan? Their president says no. Reports say his officials have already conveyed the message to Israel. If Gazans are pushed into Egypt, ties will rupture. That's the message from Cairo. Jordan too has said the same. Their foreign minister was speaking in fact in Doha this week. And he said that the IDF will empty Gaza of its people. And what is Israel saying? They say it's all baseless.
What we see in Gaza is not simply the killing of innocent people, the destruction of their livelihoods, but we are seeing a systematic effort, it seems, to empty Gaza from its people.
These are, of course, outrageous and false accusations. Israel is fighting to defend itself from the monsters who perpetrated the October 7th massacre, and the purpose of our campaign is to bring those monsters to justice and ensure that they can never again hurt our people.
But ground accounts differ. Gazan journalists say the IDF is planning to deport Gazans. And it's not a wild theory. Just think about it. First, Israel began attacking northern Gaza, so thousands of people fled to the south. Now they're striking southern Gaza. So where do these people go? Beyond the strip, if they can. Israel can deny all it wants, but an empty Gaza remains a real possibility. And then we have scenario number 3, some sort of peacekeeping arrangement. Again, Israel has hinted at this, creating a buffer zone between Israel and Gaza, a demilitarized safe zone. Reports say they pitched this plan to Egypt, Jordan, and the UAE. Just one problem, though. Who will control and man this zone? Qatar says no Arab state will do it. Let me quote their prime minister. This is what he said. No one from the region will accept to put boots on the ground following an Israeli tank. This is unacceptable. What about an international force? Well, he's rejected that too. He said Palestinians do not need guardians. Well, then, what's the answer? The Palestinian Authority has indicated some willingness. Their president says he could administer Gaza on one condition, though. It should be a package deal that includes Gaza and the West Bank. So simply put, he wants concessions from Israel, and good luck getting that from Netanyahu. So here's the long story short. No one knows what post-war Gaza will look like. Not Israel, not the United States, and not the Arab countries. They're all going with the flow. Except that flow is leading to the death of innocent civilians. Israel has continued its airstrikes on Gaza. The city of Rafah was hit overnight. At least 20 people were killed. Many more are trapped below the debris. The ground operations also continue. We're talking about intense close-range combat. Both the Hamas and IDF have released footage. Take a look at this now. Israel is also flooding the Hamas tunnels. We're talking about a long network here. Hamas claims it's around 500 kilometers long. Their fighters use these tunnels to move around, also to plan surprise attack. The IDF is pumping seawater into the tunnels. The idea is to flush the Hamas out. It's a tricky strategy, though. Many reports say Hamas is holding hostages inside these tunnels. What if the IDF ends up flooding those? So Netanyahu is taking a big risk here. But then again, that's been his entire war strategy.